What's up, you guys? Today we have a pretty unique motorcycle. This is a 2008 Buell Ulysses XB12X. This was Buell's attempt at an adventure bike, and it has a lot of cool quirks and features, which we're going to talk about. If you like this style of content, drop us a like, give us a subscribe. We'd appreciate it. We also did a review of another very rare bike, which was a Henderson Excelsior. Very rare bike. You don't see many of them. Check it out if you're so inclined. All right, so there's a lot of neat things about this bike, and if you're new to Buell, one of the most notable things is this, of course, right here, being the frame of the motorcycle, is also the gas tank. The gas is inside the frame on all of the Buell XB models. Just something that's pretty unique about Buell in general. It does use a Harley-Davidson styled engine. A lot of people had said for many years it's actually a Harley engine. It's not technically true. Technically, the cases for many of the XB model Buell motorcycles were Buell-specific engine cases for these bikes in particular. So, few things that we're going to point out here. This, again, this was Buell's attempt at an adventure motorcycle. One of the things I love about this is these saddlebags here. Many of them came with it, not all of them, but the saddlebags are exceptionally large. It's hard to tell from the photos, but I love the design. It fits in real well with the rest of the bike. A lot of times when you get an adventure bike, the saddlebags can appear to be just sort of an afterthought. These, they just match the style. There's a ton of room. They're easy to use. I love these saddlebags. Something else to note if you are in the market for a Ulysses model is this model that you see before me has been lowered just a little bit. The model in its stock configuration is quite tall. I'm about 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in there. So when I ride the standard model that has not been lowered, I do find that I am up on my tiptoes. Typically, that's not ideal for adventure riding or any sort of dual sport type riding that you might want to do with a bike of this sort. So that's something to be aware of. If maybe you're in the market, you're looking for one, maybe you're a little bit shorter, maybe you're 5'8", 5'7", you might want to consider lowering it or taking one for a test ride, making sure that it's going to fit your needs and you're going to be comfortable on it. This bike does use the 1200cc version of the Buell motor. Makes about 103 horsepower or so. Makes plenty of torque as well. It's going to be plenty of power for what you need. It does have a 17-inch mag front wheel. Mags, of course, in the front and the rear. So typically, that's not ideal for more adventure off-road riding. So this is going to be less similar to, say, a BMW GS model. Definitely not a deal breaker for this category, but it is something to be aware of when you go to potentially purchase one of these. Something else that's unique about this style Buell motorcycle is the oil for the engine is actually in the swing arm. So if you remember, of course, the fuel is in the main frame and the oil that cools the engine is in the swing arm. Something that's pretty unique to Buell. I don't know of any other manufacturer that ever put the engine oil in the swing arm, but this one does. Bear in mind, again, if you're in the market for an adventure style bike and you want to go with something American, you want to go something that's becoming more and more of a classic, this bike is, for its class, a bit of a heavy bike. Wet weight is around 470 pounds. So it is a beefy girl. It does still have a cult following. Despite the height, despite the weight, there are a lot of guys out there who absolutely love these bikes. Probably not known to be the most reliable bike either, but the guys that own these, that enjoy these, absolutely love them. So despite those issues, man, if you enjoy wrenching on your own bike, it's not as if it's a terribly difficult bike to work on. If you've worked on a Harley motorcycle in the past, you're not going to find too many differences working on one of the Buell motors. Even though there are some key differences, it's not going to make it much more tremendously complicated for you. It does have a reload compression adjuster on the rear shock. So if you do decide you're going to do some two-up riding, it does have the ability to make some adjustments to that rear shock that's going to make it more suitable for two-up riding if you decide you're going to maybe take your girl or take your man out on the trails. These bikes are getting a little bit older. It is not uncommon to find one in less than ideal condition. Something I will say about it though is parts do tend to be a little bit more expensive, and they are getting more difficult to find. As you likely already know, Buell has not been in existence for some time now, and so the parts are getting harder to find. But again, just going back to what we said up top, it is very unique. There are not very many American adventure style motorcycles out there. This is one of them, and it's arguably one of the best in its class for that time.